Hey there, Internet, it's me. I'm here to tell you about another board game. This is a classic in my opinion. This is one we play a lot. It's a great game. Love it. It's called Powergrid. So Powergrid is a straight up economic game. The winner of the game is the person who can power the most cities. How do you power cities? Simple. You build power plants, you move your network in there, you buy stuff and things, and that's it, right? Not so much. Each city is going to have a cost associated with building your network into it. But once you're in a city, you still have to supply power to it. So that's where you have to buy power plants. Of course, you need money to buy power plants, but you only get money by powering cities. You see where I'm going here? The other thing to keep in mind is that for every power plant you get, they take a certain resource to power it, whether it's coal, oil, trash, or nuclear power. Or wind. They're environmentally friendly. This game is great because really and truly, while it seems complicated when you first start explaining the rules, once you play around, it all makes sense and it's really easy to learn. It's also really great at self-balancing itself. If one player takes an early lead, they get some disadvantages as the game continues so that other players can keep up and catch up and pass them and win at the end. So there are three phases to the game that you really have to keep track of. The first is when you buy factories. Factories are super important because they're what lets you power cities, and that's how you win the game. The factories range anywhere from really cheap and really crappy to really expensive and really awesome. One thing to notice about this is when you buy a factory, you also have to make sure that you're buying resources. One of the best things about this game is that the price of resources changes based on the demand. So if everybody's using trash to power their power plants, trash is gonna get really expensive really quick. That's gonna mean your other players can build a coal plant and get cheap coal to power their nation. A few strategies that you could throw into this game. You can kind of manipulate the price of resources. If you need coal, you can buy up coal so that you can force your other players to spend more and therefore have less money to spend on power plants. Another strategy you might want to consider is, like I said, holding back early in the game on building cities. If you have fewer cities than the other players, then you get to build first and buy your resources first. So you get to build cheaper and buy your resources cheaper. You can save up money, and then as the game gets closer to the end, throw it all out there for a win. Remember, it's not the total number of cities that you're in that wins the game. It's how many cities you can power. You could, as a strategy, buy a lot of cities, but only be able to power a few so that you force the game to end sooner and take the win from anybody else. It's risky, you can do it. One thing you might want to do as well is look for some factories that take multiple types of resources. This one takes coal and oil, so sometimes that can be really good to have if the markets get a little expensive for one and cheap for another one. Look for those. I really can't express just how much fun this game is and how many times we have played this game. Every playthrough is completely different. We've never had the same experience twice. Plus, there are a million expansions. There's maps like Russia, Japan, it's France, and this is Italy. The list goes on, and one of the great things about these maps is they all have a little different rule set, even when it comes to resources. For example, if you play the Korea map, you have two marketplaces, one in North Korea and one in South Korea. And guess what? You can't buy any nuclear material out of North Korea. See what they did there? I could go on and on with this game. There's so many things to think about when it comes to transmission costs, the cost of building into cities, the different phases. It's a spectacular game to play if you're really into board games. If you've never played this game and you see it at your local game store, you really need to pick it up. It's totally worth your time. Make sure you do the stuff where you tell people about the things, the liking, the sharing, the subscribing, and the things that you do with that. And be on the lookout for more. We're going to be doing some more board game stuff, and be on the lookout for our new show all about role-playing games. What? Yeah, it's a thing.